at DePauw who have risen very, very quickly in ExactTarget's ranks. So ExactTarget's based in Indy, and while I was there, they hired 200 employees in 4 months. And they had 1,000 employees, and when I finished, they had like 1,200 something. So I was actually considered a veteran by the time I finished, which was kind of interesting. And by the time I finished, part of my responsibility would be to take the new corporate sales reps and say, hey, here's kind of, before they went into like the formal sales training, hey, here's what you can do for the next week. But basically what I did is I started off in the corporate sales, as I said, and my manager was in charge of the central corporate sales team. So in corporate sales is inside sales, which means it's phone sales. So you don't get out, for example, on your moped and travel around Wisconsin going to different businesses. You're calling them on the phone, you're doing like video conferences, and my biggest job was to sell ExactTarget software. So that was what kept me busy most of the time. And what that involved first was, one of the things I think that was most valuable about my experience at ExactTarget was actually the training they placed in me. I spent 4 months of my internship, 1 month of that, and maybe a month and a week of that total was spent in training. So I went through different types of formal sales training. They have a massive user conference every year. If you do this internship in the fall, it's awesome because they have great benefits, so to speak. I saw Katy Perry in a private suite. They had a private concert. I saw the people who sing like Check Yes, Juliet. They came to their Christmas party. So this is a software company. It's casual, it's fun. Sorry, I got distracted. Katy Perry does that to me. So what I did day to day was I'd come in the morning and I'd go through, basically try to get companies through the sales process. So sales reps who have been there a while get leads that are passed through what they call like lead development. But as an intern, my job was partially to be that lead development. So I'd go online, and I was covering Chicago. So I'd go online, look around, try to find a company that looked like a good potential client. And once I found one, I'd put them in the customer relationship management database. I don't know if any of you know Salesforce. I'd enter it in Salesforce, start doing some research, type up a nice email, say, hey, I'd creep around, find the right person to contact, see what I can find out about them, and say, hey, look, I think I have a solution that really help you guys out, and here's how we can help. And nobody ever answers you the first time, which is miserable. And so you email them again, maybe 2 days later. It's kind of like harassment, I think, sales. And then they don't answer again, so you just keep doing it over and over. And it's really frustrating because the average length of time for a self-gen sale to come to fruition and actually become closed business is 4 months. And of course, my internship was 4 months. So a lot of the accounts that I spent a lot of time prospecting and talking to and getting interested in ExactTarget are now just coming to the table and saying, hey, we're ready to talk, give us a proposal. So, and it's actually ironic, the first account that I worked through from the entire prospecting through negotiating, going through the legal stuff, and finally closing, it happened the day after my internship ended. And which was unfortunate because they would have given me commission, and instead it went to the team. So I was depressed. But so I think what I really learned is that sales is a really tough area of business to work in. It takes a long time for things to pay off, and you got to be patient. So I really learned the value of, I think, self-motivation. Organization has always been my weakness, and what this internship forced me to do was come in, at 8 in the morning and say, hey, my boss isn't going to tell me what to do today. He might give me a project every other week, and the rest of the time I have to try to sell stuff. So, there's sales reps who sit on their computer and play addictinggames.com, and you got to be careful not to fall into that trap. So I really learned the value of that. I really learned the value of working the 8 to 5, using my calendar. And I think ultimately I was really proud of the value I brought back to the team. And I like I said, ExactTarget's got a great culture. They call it Orange. And I get texts and emails from my coworkers and calls all the time. Hey Andrew, do you remember Bench Prep? Just sold for 18,000. Great, great prospecting. And that's something that's really neat to me is to be able to see, you get firm metrics that add back to the team. And I think that's a particularly rewarding and frustrating part of sales is cold, hard, firm numbers that rank your performance. So I had a wonderful experience.
Any of the juniors or seniors out there you want to add any short thing about yours? Do stand up. Yeah.
Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, speak loud.
All right, cool. My name's Joe Boyda. I'm obviously junior panel, right? I did my internship in Chicago for a commercial real estate company called Cushman & Wakefield, and I think I'd echo a lot of what Andrew had to say. My culture was pretty immediately, I knew it was me. I mean, the guy I worked for was a DePauw grad. He was a quarterback, beat Wabash 2 years, which is great, but anyway. The culture was great there. My main project was actually to go and kind of like analyze the Chicago market. So like my first job was to physically go to 161 downtown buildings and take notes. I came up with my own kind of little chart. I had to take notes on the views of the buildings, the amenities, the lobby, the security, and then come all the way back and put everything. All right. I don't know if this is even really helping, but anyway, went back, put it all in a database, and after a while, with some Google Maps and stuff, we ended up getting a location score as well. So what we were able to accomplish was we came up with like a ranking system for every building or every important building to the company in the Chicago market, which, for potential clients and, in a certain pitch, when you're trying to, get a job and actually manage their office space is, can kind of be a big deal. So I would echo what everybody said. I think my internship was, I felt like I actually added value. I wasn't just doing, the busy work and stuff like that. I never had to go grab coffee or anything, which I think is important. So I don't know if there's
anybody else?
Hey guys, my name is Logan Patterson. I'm a junior from Carmel, Indiana, and I went with Allison to India working for Cummins. It was a really great experience. Like Allison, I really wanted to study abroad, and I had to do an internship for MoFo. So I thought this was the best way to combine the two. I really had no clue what I was getting myself into by going to India. It's a very different place, but it turned out to be a great experience. And if any of you guys are even remotely interested, come talk to us about it because it is really something special. I worked in the power generation business unit, so I worked with a couple sales teams, and I don't know if this is working or not. And I basically created a new customer scorecard, which means I came up with a bunch of questionnaire questions and went out to businesses throughout the country of India, got to do a little bit of business travel, and kind of interview them, see what they like about us and what we're not doing well. Combined all that into a presentation and presented it to a lot of the leaders within our company. Like Andrew said, I had a lot of free time, so I really had to figure out how to manage that well. It's really different working out in the business world. It's not like being a student, but it was a great experience, and I definitely grew from it. So, all you guys are getting ready to do your internship. If any of you are interested, come talk to us. Thanks.
So I know that a lot of people might be disappointed that you can't do a study, or you could do a study abroad and an internship, but then you'd be gone a whole year, and who wants to do that? But I just want to make a point that the value you get from an internship it's undescribable. You cannot beat it by going abroad. Seriously, the connections you make, and I have a job offer out of college already, like it's an experience that studying abroad I don't think can be. You meet contacts, and today it's all about who you know to get a job and what you learn, and I know it stinks, but hope maybe you can travel during your internship. I gotta go to Canada. So
The 51st.
I just want everyone to know that it might be a little disappointing, but it is an amazing experience that I don't think studying abroad could beat. Go on a winter term.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to? Morgan, what is it?
No, it's okay.
Sandy took the.
I can talk loud.
Okay, talk loud.
So
I think they're recording. Are they recording it?
I did my internship at
Use
AEG.
Morgan, go ahead and use it.
Okay. I'm Morgan. I'm a senior. I did my internship at AEG like Austin did, but I spent most of my time in IT and accounting. I actually got to go out to San Diego to some of the schools out there, so that was pretty cool. And then I also interned at Eli Lilly. I did the financial analyst internship. I worked in manufacturing finance, so I got to go in a lot of the plants and see how the medicines were being made and packaged. And I worked with the OUS sites outside of US to work on streamlining their manufacturing reporting process. And when I graduate, I'm working for Ernst & Young, which is one of the big 4 accounting firms, but I'm working in their enterprise intelligence group. So I kind of have job ADD. I got really bored, not bored because it was boring material, but just sitting at the same desk every day, I figured out that I did not want to do. So at Ernst & Young in enterprise intelligence, I'll get to go to different companies every couple of weeks. So I'll travel Monday through Thursday and then come home every Friday to Sunday. And what you do is you go to a different company and kind of help them become more efficient, look through their financials, tell them what they can do better, look through their IT and help them with that. So if anyone has any questions about any of those 3 companies, we used to have interns up at E&Y, but we don't anymore, so I'm hoping to bring that program back there, not this fall, but maybe in the spring. So if anyone has any questions about that, definitely come talk to me.
Anybody else want to say anything about their internship?
Max, let's hear about yours.
Want to hear about Texas? Come talk to me. Randera. I'm sure you've heard a lot.
So now let's open up the general question. Anybody have a question? No questions? First year, second year students, no pressure. Ask something.
This is a question for Allison. You talk a lot about the cultural differences in working in India. I'm curious to know what you think was a gainful experience from working in a different culture.
I think just learning to really keep an open mind and be completely adaptable is the biggest thing, because when I got there, and I realized this after a little while there, that I knew it wasn't like the US, but I kept comparing it to the US. And that's one thing that if you're working in a different culture, or even studying or living in a different culture, you really have to realize that you can't compare the two. We'd go out or we'd be at work and something would happen and be like, oh, that would never happen in the US. But then at the same time, we'd travel around or we'd meet friends and they would be so open with us and we'd be like, well, that wouldn't happen in the US either. And that's amazing. So you just have to learn not to try to compare the two. And once I did that and stopped thinking the US is different in this way, and really just kept an open mind, I got to know my colleagues a lot more. I was much better at communicating with my colleagues. And the other thing, you just have to ask. When I first got there, I was so nervous. And after that, I started to talk to my colleagues and I'd be like, hey, I can't get this person to respond to my email. What's the best way to go about it? And they were like, oh, nobody replies to emails here. That's not how we do things. You actually have to go either call that person, which they can still avoid your call, and there's no voicemail in India, so that sometimes isn't effective. Or you literally have to go walk up to them and tell them, here's this form, I need it done. I'm gonna stand here until you finish it. So, there's just so many different things that you wouldn't know unless you open yourself up to it and, yeah, sometimes you're going to fail. There were times that I would go to my boss and have to present something, and I was like, I'm sorry, none of my team got back to me with these slides that I'm supposed to present to you. And since mine was a project management role, I didn't have that information myself. I collected a lot of information, put it all together, and made sure that it all worked together. So there were times that I showed up to my VP and I was like, I'm sorry, I have nothing for you. And that's so embarrassing to do, but you just have to, and he would understand it too. He's lived and worked in the US, so that was really helpful to have something like that. But he would be like, Allison, just talk to your colleagues, here's some effective ways that you can do it. So I think the biggest thing that I learned is how to adapt and how to ask for help when you need it. Don't just sit there hoping that something will turn around, because it won't.
There's one right in front and then
Bronco.
My question is a little bit about for what you guys did before the internship. So I'm asking from a perspective of us where we haven't actually had one yet. And what did you guys take in serious consideration when choosing between companies that you really want to intern for? Just looking at them being, man, I really, really want to do this, but this other company looks great too. And then usually when you talk to, other people, they all say they had a fantastic time. But you can't just, always judge people because different interns fit other people better. So what did you guys really look into before choosing?
I'll start off. All right, I've had 2 different internships, and they've been completely different experiences. And one of them might be something that you'd initially look at and you think, wow, this would be unbelievable. But it doesn't always meet the eye. So I did my exact target, and then over winter term, I interned for the Super Bowl host committee in Indianapolis. And one of the things is you hear that, you think, oh, this could be really exciting, but then what you get is you don't get the kind of responsibility that you get at your other job, and you're treated as an intern. So I think when you're looking to compare internships, especially if you have the option of talking to someone who's done it before, talk to them, because you don't want to get stuck in a 4-month semester-long internship hauling boxes. You want to have real responsibility. And I think the other critical thing you want is a culture where you can get to meet senior people, where you can get advice from them. And then the final thing is educational opportunities with real responsibility. And I think if you look for those, that's perfect. You just got to be careful not to fall into the, oh, this is a great name kind of trap, and then you get no real responsibility.
I know that a lot of people don't want to do the Eli Lilly because it is in Indianapolis, and a lot of people are from Indianapolis. But I really think that you should pick a company not based on a location, but based on what what benefits you're going to get from the internship, which I could speak all day about what I've learned at Lilly and how much I'm obsessed with the company now. But I think what makes or breaks an internship is, 1, the project that you have. If you don't have a good project, if you have hauling boxes like Andrew said, you're going to hate the internship no matter where you are. And 2 is a great boss. You need a great boss to be your mentor, to help you, to ask questions to, who's flexible, who understands that, you might be sick this week. Like, I had strep throat for an entire week, and my boss was like, just stay home the whole week. Like, if I see you on your computer, you're in trouble. She really wanted me to take care of myself and before, work. So I think that if you have opportunity to meet with who may be your potential bosses and know the project before, that those 2 things are a big deal breaker for me.
I guess to kind of go off of Erica, do not choose your internship based on a location. I went to Grand Rapids, Michigan. There's nothing really exciting about Grand Rapids. But the thing is the value that I got out of basically being underneath Pete Rupert just blew me. I was expecting to grow a lot as a person and as a young business professional, but I grew a ton. And so I guess the thing is really kind of dig around and see what type of projects you're going to be working on, the culture of the company. And Andrew can probably speak to this. The culture at American Education Group set the bar so high that it's going to be hard, actually searching for a job to accept anything less than that. And so I guess kind of seeing the best of, for me, it was the best because I did an internship with a financial planner with ING at home, and doing some of those tasks, really just crunching numbers is no fun. So being able to, effectively what I was doing at American Education Group was developing a business plan and presenting it to the board. And so doing the valuable projects, adding value to the company. It's a rewarding experience. And so really kind of just ask those questions. Ask the people that you interview with, like, hey, like, what exactly am I going to be working on? Like, I know, like, past interns have done this, you know, what's going on in the company currently, you know, and kind of just use your insights to kind of see, okay, where are they moving forward in the next 6 months, because that's what I'm going to be working on. And so if that sounds exciting to you, then absolutely sign up, you know, commit to it.
So unlike everyone else, I did choose my internship based on location. But the biggest thing for me was I wanted to try something that was completely outside my comfort zone. And I knew that I wanted to work for a big company where I could meet a lot of people and see that big company aspect. Because I've before done internships with really small companies where I've had a lot of responsibility across a lot of things, but I haven't been able to really deep dive into one thing. So I chose it because I wanted to get out of my comfort zone, both in location and learn how to work in a new culture, because I do want to do something international after I graduate from DePauw. So I thought getting out and working in an international company and getting that cultural difference was going to be huge, and also partly because engines I know nothing about. They've never really excited me, but I thought, again, it would be a great way to get outside my comfort zone and have to learn something completely new. So.
Yeah, I would say definitely, you really should talk to someone who's done the internship. I mean, if you go to the management fellow's office and ask for a phone number, you could even call someone, and then ask them definitely about the culture, because even if you're doing the most stimulating, most exciting work, if you're treated like Connor was saying, if you're treated like a horrible intern, you know, it's not going to be fun. So I'd say I wish that I'd talked more about the culture, because I definitely learned an unbelievable amount. But there were times when, you know, I did feel like I was treated just like an intern, had to go, you know, grab Subway or something like that. But you know, overall, all these internships are really good, and you'll definitely come back and have learned so much.
Yeah, you really just can't go wrong with any of them that the Management Fellows Office offers, because they're there because other people have enjoyed them. So find something that excites you.
Also, just speaking on the value of just doing an internship, getting off DePauw's campus for a semester, yeah, it sucks because you have to leave all your friends, you have to leave this campus, but like, you need to see really what it's like. I mean, it's a bubble. It's our own little fake reality here. And so it was nice to actually get 6 months of experience, like living on my own, doing the things that I'm going to be doing, you know, a year and a half from now. So that in itself is a very valuable experience.
All right. My question is for Erica. I guess you worked in marketing, and I wasn't sure if you took a class or something here at DePauw for marketing, or if you just learned all the marketing from what you did.
So no, there are no marketing classes at DePauw, but I would say that anything I've learned at DePauw, I really haven't used. I haven't drawn any econ graphs or anything. I think what the best is the work ethic and the way you think and solve problems is what has helpful. I think that each company you have, if you're interested in marketing, probably has a different philosophy on how they market. We do consumer we try to really understand our consumers, which a lot of time is the doctor or the patient, because we sell prescription or drugs to the doctor and then they prescribe them. So we really have to understand the doctor. While at Lilly, I got to take all their marketing philosophy classes, and they're called Insights 1, 2, and 3, so that I could learn more about their philosophy. But I think based on the company you go to, or it'll be different, and you'll probably just learn while you're there. Marketing's not it's tough, but I don't think it's a class worthy.